Hi guys, it's Grace with Grace Gets Gastric. Today is Wednesday, February 13th, and I'm here one day late with my 1 year, 6 week, or 58 week post-op VSG update. So I mentioned in last week's video that I've been on vacation, and so I just flew in. I got in last night at around like 10 o'clock, 10:30 p.m. my time, so wasn't able to film anything, but I'm here today. So to start with stats, again, my name is Grace. I am 5'8", 28 years old, and on January 2nd, 2018, I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG weight loss surgery. My highest weight ever recorded was 354 pounds in May of 2017, and I was required by my insurance to do a 6-month medically supervised weight loss diet, and over the course of that 6 months I did lose 35 pounds, so my starting weight day of surgery was 319 pounds. Last week I came at you with a weight of 199.1, and this morning I weighed in at 197.5. So that is a weekly loss of 1.6 pounds, a loss since surgery of, 197.6. So it was a loss since last week of 1.6 pounds, a loss since surgery of 121.4 pounds, and a loss since my highest weight of 156.5 pounds. I'm thrilled with that. I'm honestly did not expect to come at you with a loss. Like I said, I've been on vacation since Thursday, so I traveled Thursday through yesterday. I did do a ton of walking. Every single day I hit my 8K step goal, including the travel days, and then when we were in the theme parks, it was like at least double that. So tons of walking. And definitely ate more than I normally do and ate significantly more sugar. I actually did a what I eat in a day video that I'm gonna edit and post that I was kind of feeling nervous about posting because it's definitely not an average day. Like, it's very clearly like there were things that I wanted to try in the theme park, specifically in Harry Potter World, that I would not normally eat in my regular life. And my sugars are so much higher than they ever are. But, like, that was real life. That was something I indulged in. My calories weren't crazy high, but my carbs were much higher and my protein was lower than I generally aim for. But yeah, it didn't feel too out of control. I mentioned in, after my Austin trip, if you guys were, have been watching me, I mentioned how I kind of felt a little bit out of control with my choices. I didn't feel that way this time, even though I was definitely indulging. It felt more purposeful. So I was happy with that. But like I said, I was traveling all day yesterday. Like, I feel like I'm retaining a little bit of water. I'm sick, so hence the beautiful thing. I have some kind of, I'm actually like coming out of it. I think I started getting it while I was gone. My tonsils are pretty inflamed, and like my lymph nodes, whatever these are like super sore and puffy. So yeah, I honestly, there were like a million reasons why I expected to have either a gain or to stay around, because my 199 that I came at you last week was, again, is about 2 pounds higher than I have been. I've been in the 197s. So I think that was, a little bit inflated, and so I kind of expected to at least stay around there. But yeah, 197.6, that's almost the lowest weight I've come to you guys at. I came at you guys thinks once, 197.5, so I've been 0.1 less before. I'll take it. Sorry, I'm spacey. Water. So, my trip. This video is going to mostly be about a trip recap, as that is what I did the past week. But yeah, so we flew out, pretty much traveled all day Thursday. It was kind of annoying. They, a week before we left, they changed the itinerary on me. And so before we were flying out of Portland and then flying to Orlando, and we were leaving at 5 a.m. and we had a very short layover in Portland, and we were getting in at like 3. which I wanted to do, so we had plenty of time to kind of acclimate. We were gonna pick up the rental car, go grocery shopping, like settle into the condo before heading to my grandparents the next day. But they had to change it, so we ended up routing through San Diego. Left an hour later, had like an hour and a half layover, which there were problems connecting the bridge to the plane, so we basically spent that entire hour and a half layover sitting in the plane, which was super fun. And then we got to Orlando at 6. It took like an hour and a half to get the rental car, which was just annoying. So, long story short, we didn't get to the condo until like 8, which was fine. We ran to the grocery store really quickly, and then settled in, slept. I actually, so that was Thursday. Friday, woke up early and went to the gym, the little fitness center in the condo, which I was very proud of myself for doing, because it's vacation, and I don't know if it's the first, I mean, I worked out on the cruise, but other than that, once I worked out on the cruise. Like, I don't really work out on vacations often because the vacations I go on involve a lot of walking. So, yeah, it was, I mean, it wasn't like fun, but it was cool. I did it, and I ended up, that helped me hit my step goal, because after that, we went to the grocery store again. The plan was to like we got snacks, and then 2 of the meals while we were there, we cooked. So, we got stuff for that, and then we drove to, sorry, someone's calling me, but I don't know the number. So then we drove to Clearwater, which is where my grandparents live. It's like an hour and a half-ish away. And got to see them. I haven't been, so they're snowbirds, so snow bunnies, snowbirds, I don't know. They spend winters in Florida, and they live like their actual house, or like the kids grew up. My parents grew up. One of my parents grew up. is in Denver, Colorado. So I haven't been to the Florida place since I was like in kindergarten, something like that. Basically, there was this big ditch behind the house that I fell into. And so it's like a big family story that everyone loves. And that's the last time I was there, was when I fell into the ditch and had to be hosed down outside. So it was fun. It was cool to be back there. They have like a nice little trailer kind of thing in a mobile home in a retirement type community. And yeah, it went better than I was expecting. I mean, they were still kind of themselves. And I talked about this in my last week video about how they have not been great about our weight, and definitely was like a lot of like staring and like, you look so good and you're so beautiful now, and stuff like that. That's not great, but it was fine. A few comments to my sister, like like you're next kind of thing, and my sister's like her path is her own, and it was fine. We were prepared for it. It actually, I think it was okay. And it was, good to see them. And again, we were expecting it. So I think it was not as bad as I had been prepared for. So that was good. And then we went to Busch Gardens the next day, and that was super fun. I have not been to an amusement park in a very long time. I've always loved amusement parks, but I think I mentioned in my last week video that I have not gone, and I legitimately don't remember. Maybe I was a freshman in high school, 10 plus years for sure. And partially there are not very many around where I live, like any. But a significant reason is because of my size, or of my previous size. Like, I did not think that I would fit on them, and I would not have. It's very weird. So traveling with my sister, I become very aware, and this is not a reflection on her. It's a reflection on me. Like, I'm more able to see size in terms of, like, I see her and I'm like, she is not as big as me. And, like, as I was. Sometimes I think that she is, but then like she'll wear my old shirts, or, you know, she doesn't need a seatbelt extender on the plane. She's close, but she doesn't need one, and I need them on basically all flights. And she, at Busch Gardens, they're actually like one of the best ones from what I read about fitting people in. She was able to fit on all of the roller coasters, but it was a very close thing. Like, attendants had to like help for all of them, but she was able to go on all of them, which was good because she also really loves roller coasters, and I was really nervous about that, from a mental perspective for her, you know, and also from a slightly selfish perspective of I wanted to go on them, and like wouldn't, you know, it's not as, one, it's not as fun as if you go alone, and two, like I know that it's shitty to be going on these roller coasters when, you know, to see a friend go on them and then you can't. So thankfully at Busch Gardens we were able to go on all of them, but it's just very interesting seeing her size and like knowing that she's not as big as I was. Not even at my highest weight, but at like my maintenance weight, she's not as big as that. And she's pretty big, you know? Like, I mean, again, and this is not at all a statement on her. It's just like me realizing, because I knew I was big, obviously, but you don't always realize like how big and how that looks, you know? And it's just been very interesting, like processing that from this size. Anyways, Busch Gardens was amazing. It was really, really fun. Lots of crazy roller coasters. If you like roller coasters, I highly recommend. It's cool. It's also like kind of a zoo, sort of. Like there are animals in there, which I'd been there before, but a long time ago, and so I didn't remember that. And like there's different areas, like there are different like parts of the world. It was fun. And then we drove home and got up real early the next morning and went to Universal. So we got a 2-day pass to Universal Studios Orlando, because we wanted to see both of the Harry Potter worlds. There's Diagon Alley in the Universal Orlando, and then there is Hogsmeade and Hogwarts Castle in Islands of Adventure. We decided to get the 2-day pass where you can only go to one park each day. The one downside to that is that you can't take the Hogwarts Express between the two parks, which I hear is pretty cool. So we weren't able to do that. And frankly, I think we could have done both parks in one day, partially because like most of what we were interested in was really the Harry Potter stuff, and partially because unlike Busch Gardens, there was not a lot of accommodations for her, so she was not able to go on any of the rides. There are some of them I think that she probably could have fit on, but like we didn't really want to push that, you know, like it's a horrible feeling to be kicked off in front of everyone, you know, and partially because so there were a few that like, you know, and then also a lot of the rides there are those like 3D kind where you're like in a chair and like you just kind of move around and you're not on a roller coaster. Anyways, those simulation ones make me feel ill. So I didn't want to go in any of those. I don't really enjoy them. And that was most of the rides. So I think that we personally could have just done like a 1-day both parks pass, but hindsight. It was worth it to go to both of the Harry Potter worlds. If you're a Harry Potter fan, it was amazing. So the first day we did Diagon Alley in the regular Universal. That was the best one, in my opinion. It was really big. Like the area of the Harry Potter world was huge. And I mean, the attention to detail is incredible. There were a lot of shops that you could go into, and it was cool. Like there was the menagerie, like the magical animal menagerie, where they sold like stuffed animals, and they had like the Quidditch store where you could buy like Quidditch gear and like other kind of sportsy looking stuff. The Weasleys, Wizard Wheezes, their joke shop, you could buy like toys and jokes. there was the sweet shop where you could buy the HP sweets. So it was, you know, it was really fun. They had the ice cream parlor for Tescues where I did get some butterbeer ice cream. And they had like Borgin and Burke's which is in Nocturne Alley. So you could buy like dark Mark, you know, Voldemort, Death Eater stuff. But I mean, it was incredible. It was super cool. And then they had Gringotts. You could exchange your money to get like Gringotts notes, like little paper notes, and you can like use them anywhere in the park to pay for things. So that was kind of fun. And like they have Ollivanders, which is where you can get wands, and you can go through this like little experience where like they pick out a wand. I mean, it was just very cute, very cool. And then, like I said, I was not overly impressed with Universal Studios itself. Like, it just wasn't my bag. But the Harry Potter world there was incredible. And the next day we did Islands of Adventure, and that park itself was much cooler, I thought. I thought that it was just more my vibe, and more theme parky. And that one was really cool overall. They had like a Dr. Seuss area. They had like a Toontown. They had comic book Marvel area. So they had Jurassic Park. Lots of cool things that like I'm more into. And then that's where they had a Hogsmeade and the Hogwarts Castle. It's much smaller than Diagon Alley. I almost wish we would have done it opposite, because I think after coming off of Diagon, it just seemed very small, and like most of the shops are just like windows for you could, you know, like with cool stuff in them, but not, you can't go in them. There were much fewer shops. They did have Honeydukes though, which was cool. And the coolest thing though was obviously the castle. The castle was awesome. It's technically a ride inside. It's one of those 3D ones. I did go on it. It was not good in my opinion, but I don't like those rides. But the castle itself is fantastic, and just walking through it and waiting in line was the best part. Just the attention to detail inside was worth, it was far better than the ride itself, was just waiting in line for the ride. But yeah, that was kind of like an overview. Like I said, lots of NSVs with lots of photos. I took lots of photos, like full body photos. I wanted to be in photos. That's never been the case. I've actually been looking for like Transformation Tuesday pictures of previous vacations, and there just really are not a lot of options of me in photos with like my full body or even my face. I just didn't want to be in photos, and that's very different now. And yeah, being able to fit on the roller coasters, walking, you know, 16,000 plus steps every day. I mean, my feet were definitely tired at the end of the day. But all I could think of was like, I can't even imagine what it would be like, you know, 120 pounds ago. I've done stuff like that. I did stuff like that when I was at my highest weight, but it was not fun. Yeah. So I had a great vacation. It was great. Not loving that I'm sick now, but I think I'm getting over it. I think this is kind of like the last day. And, hopefully, I'm like a little nervous about being contagious, but c'est la vie. I hope you guys are all doing well. I felt very out of the loop. I have so many YouTube videos to catch up on. I was trying to watch them throughout the week when I had like some spare time, like when I was getting ready in the morning. But I have a lot of YouTube videos to catch up on. I've been like completely off Instagram. I've been posting daily, but not on there very much. But I'm excited to get back into my routine and hopefully keep the losses coming. All right. I will talk to you all very soon.